Hey, what's up friends and fams? It's your boy Migs here. Welcome to another little cooking demo where I'll be showing you how to make some vegan meatloaf. Now, my personal favorite to use is Impossible plant-based ground meat. They sell them in bricks, $8 each depending on where you find them. Sometimes they're $9. I know you're saying that's a little bit pricey for certain people, but the way I look at it is if you want to avoid going to the doctors and paying all this medicine and stuff, especially if you don't have health insurance, the first line of defense that you have against having to go to the hospitals and stuff like that would be your food. The reason Socrates said that food be thy medicine and medicine be thy food. So with that, we're going to get this cooking demo underway. So I like to use 2 bricks of this Impossible plant-based ground meat, because I like to cook in big portions. That way I don't have to cook that often. So I really don't have that much time on my hands to be cooking. Sometimes I cook little quick stuff. I'm trying to avoid a lot of processed frozen foods and stuff like that. So it's always good to just cook some really good fresh food in abundance and just have it in the fridge ready for when you want to eat. Oh boy, once your fingers get slippery with this, it is pretty hard. I'm gonna have to get the scissors out real quick. Let's see where we got them bad boys at. And they're nowhere to be found. I'll jump onto the next thing, the knife. Alright. Just be careful not to stab yourself as you open your package. It's harder than it seems when you're doing it with gloves that are slippery. Here we go, people. We're getting in business, we're getting in business. There we go. This thing is really amazing, really does look like ground meat. They use coconut oil as the fat and the binder, kind of. Make sure you get all these little extra bits to stick to the package if you can. Put these guys in the garbage. Alright, here we go. So, let's give it 1 second, guys. Gotta have some napkins handy to continuously clean my hands while I handle ingredients and stuff. So make sure you check out that link in the description to find out how I made this sofrito base in my other video. This is kind of like the mother sauce that all us Latinos like to use in our dishes. It's basically garlic cloves, green peppers, red peppers, cilantro, broadleaf culantro, and onions. And you just basically puree that up in the blender and you have your base sauce. So I like to throw some of that up in here. Got a little blackstrap molasses. This adds a sort of meaty flavor. It has iron, calcium, and potassium in it. Yeah, you're gonna hear my kitties in the background there. Sometimes they get bored and he just starts yowling. Alright, you don't want to use too much. And you want to avoid putting too much ingredients in this ground meat because then it becomes hard to stay formed in a loaf when you try to form it. Adding a little bit of oregano. Love me some oregano. I don't have measurement for you guys because honestly every time that I cook I wing it. I go off of instinct. Garlic powder. onion powder. And we have this, some mushroom seasoning. This adds an umami flavor. Umami is kind of like a meaty flavor. And it's always good to have that extra little bit of flavor up in there. Now, beforehand I chopped up some onions, peppers, and a little bit of fresh cilantro. Just throw up in there. I know it's in the sofrito base, but I like to take every opportunity at every single level of a dish when I prepare it to try to infuse as much flavor into it as possible. So aside from a highly processed, well, not highly processed, sofrito is not that highly processed, it's just really blended, but I like to have it in its raw chunk forms also. And you want to avoid adding too much to this as well, because it will prevent the loaf from forming if you add too much ingredients in here. Get a little bit more onion in there. I love me my onions. Alright, we'll put this to the side. I'll probably throw this in my rice. And with that, just start kneading your loaf together. Make sure those ingredients get nice and distributed throughout the whole thing. Don't be afraid to get your hands dirty. This isn't raw meat. You ain't have to worry about no E. coli contamination or anything like that. No freaking, what is it, mad cow disease or anything like that. All the onions and cilantro and peppers gets redistributed. Hold on 1 second, guys. Stop it. Take it easy, bro. All right, calm down. All right, and we're back. I have to play cat referee here and there. Guys be beating each other up. More my little blonde dude beats my little black cat up. They're both brothers. And Mao likes to, well, Mao's the blonde one and Panthero's the black one. And yeah, Mao likes to take advantage when I'm distracted to beat him up. Little badass brat. Alright, let me try to get this loaf out of here. Alright, here we go. Scrape what you have left off inside of that bowl. Get it in this giant meatball. Alright. Hold on real quick. I'm going to let that rest right there. Rinse off my hands. Wash them off real quick too. All right. Use this some napkins. It's always good to have some napkins handy. Cooking can be messy. Gloves dried. So now we're gonna set our oven. But first, make sure, I like to line the bottom of the sheet, my baking sheet, with a little bit of Earth Balance Original Plant-Based Butter. You don't want to put too much because this loaf is gonna release some of its own oils and stuff, so you don't want too much fat on your sheet. I'm just doing this in the area where I'm gonna place the loaf. That way it doesn't stick immediately, because it takes a little bit of time to release those oils and fat. Alright. Now that that's done, a little rinse again. Alright, I'm gonna set my air fryer to 425, and I'm going to, oh crap, hold on. Hold on for a second. Had a little bit of butter on my hand and I got it all over the dial. Alright, so set it to 425 for 40 minutes. Put an extra 2 minutes in there for the warm up. Alright, so I'm gonna get that going. Let's put her away. Baking sheet ready. Grab your giant meatball, plant-based meatball. And you're just gonna settle your meatball here, and you're gonna start shaping your loaf. Delicious. Want to get it as even and broad as possible so that you get some nice slices out of it. Make it a little bit extra long. All right. Let me give my hands a little more rinse again. All right. Look at that, ladies and gentlemen. Ain't that beautiful? Can't wait to dig into that. All right, where's my aluminum foil? Gotta find it, gotta locate it. Here we go. All right. I'm just gonna cover this up so it doesn't get any direct heat. Will also help it cook a little bit faster. grab your knife. Be very careful. Poke a little bit of vents. Good enough. I'm gonna put it in the middle area so it's a little bit away from the bottom, closer to the top. And you're just gonna set it and don't forget it. Want to monitor this so that it doesn't dry out on you. I'm going to be recycling the oils that releases as it cooks, and I'm going to use that when I make my rice. Add extra flavor in there. So once this is done, I'll be right back with you guys. Alright, and we're back, friends and fans, with the rice portion of my meal to go with my meatloaf that I'm making. So couple of the ingredients, I've already collected the little bit of oils that the meatloaf let out. I'm combining that with a little bit more oil so that I'll be able to fry up my little bit of sofrito. And that's what we gotta grab next. Let's see, here we go. Alright. When you wash your rice, you want to make sure that the water comes out clear. You don't want to have no murky water in your bowl. That way, that lets you know that the rice is nice and clean. If you try to cook rice that hasn't been cleaned, it's going to turn out kind of mushy. So that's a key ingredient to having really good rice. Me, when I'm cooking my sofrito, I like to go heavy on the sofrito. Maybe like 2.5 to 3 tablespoons. Might sound OD and overkill, but trust me, the dish is gonna come out that much more delicious. Let me get my little stove range fan going here. Alright. Now that you got your sofrito frying up, smelling delicious already. Next up, depending on what you're going for, you got your not beef and your not chicken bouillons. I am about to say something taboo that no Spanish person would probably say. And I'm probably going to get a lot of heat from this from the Latino community. But I say no to Goya products, honestly, as much as I possibly can. All those things like sazon con color, their bouillons and stuff like that. Super heavy in salts and stuff like that. These, they're high in their salt content, but not as high as you know, the Goya adobos, the Goya sazon con color. I avoid those. These use like mushrooms and stuff to give it it's like meaty flavor. That's where you get that term umami from. So with this one, I'm gonna be going for the chicken flavor with the rice, since that's already a beef-like dish. I want to do something different for my rice. Mix it up a little bit. So I like to grab a whole bouillon of this, throw it up in my sofrito. Hold on one second. Shed a little bit more light over here. Alright. Now we in business. Alright, so get that bouillon. It starts to like melt and dissolve from the heat. So spread that around in the sofrito. Now, this is some poultry seasoning. This doesn't have any animal products in it. It's just a combination of herbs and spices that you would use to flavor chicken. Honestly, a lot of people think that chicken has a flavor to it, but honestly, if it wasn't for the spices that you put on that chicken, it wouldn't taste as good as it does. Trust me. That's why you dress it up as much as possible to make it taste the furthest thing away from what it naturally tastes like. So now that, again, I'm gonna say I apologize because I don't have measurements. I just go off of instinct. I like to see a thin layer of the powder on top of the sofrito, and that's when I know when to stop. Got that umami, got that onion powder, my bad. We got some garlic powder now. A little bit of oregano. Well, that's not that much of a little bit, but I love my oregano. All right, we're gonna add this, some blackstrap molasses. This gives it that irony, kind of meaty flavor that most people look for in their dishes. But since I'm vegan, I try to avoid harming the animals. And like I said, I don't use Goya products, so I don't use sazon con color or anything to color my rice. So instead I use turmeric. This gives your rice a really good color. If you're generous with it. And also turmeric is really good because it has anti-cancer properties. Mix that around. Get all those spices blended together. One last little thing I like to put, if I can find it. Since I don't have tomato paste, I like using this Trader Joe's roasted garlic marinara. Adds a little bit of extra flavor. Don't use that much. Alright, just a little bit. Alright. And today I'll be cooking my rice with these Trader Joe's organic pinto beans. There we go. Alright, we got our rice, our water boiled. 1 second. Using a crock pot. This cooks amazing. It makes my rice perfect all the time. All I gotta do is get that water boiling, that sofrito going, and then mix my rice and all my ingredients together. Set it, chillax. I don't even have to worry. Every once in a while, I'll maybe stir it twice during its cooking process. So you got your sofrito right there, nice and ready to go in the water. Put that to the side so it doesn't overcook. Get these beans drained. That should be good. Alright. I'm doing 3.5 cups of rice to 3.5 cups of water. I match it evenly. I know there are some people that say, oh, measure it, do that little finger trick or anything, but when I put this in this crock pot, since it recycles the heat and stuff like that, and the water goes back down into the thing, the rice comes out perfect. You ain't gotta do no tricks like that. Match your cup for cup in your crock pot and you should be golden. Every bit of sofrito up in here. I don't want to lose none of that flavor. Come in for a close-up. Put your beans up in here. Mix everything together. Smelling delicious. My stomach is rumbling. I'm gonna get a little bit of tiny oil up in here so that the rice doesn't stick to itself. Even though you know you washed it good, it can still happen. You want to avoid using too much oil. Too much oil is not good for you. Moderation is the key. That's ready to go. And I'll check you back when I have everything set and done. Alright friends and fans, we're back here with the final prep for our meal. This is the sauce that I like to put on top of my meatloaf. So what you're going to use is some ketchup, some brown sugar, garlic powder, onion powder, and then you can add whatever other spices you like, but I like to keep it simple and just use those. So you're going to fill up your pan with as much ketchup as you think you're going to need for the meatloaf, for the portion of meatloaf relative. Alright, this one open. Normally I have an organic ketchup because these Heinz ketchups come with high fructose corn syrup. And I don't recommend that. High fructose corn syrups and those highly processed sugars that they use to sweeten things like these normal ketchups and stuff exacerbates diseases like diabetes and stuff like that. So you want to be healthy, you want to avoid anything that has high fructose corn syrup in it, or corn syrup for that matter. Use things with natural sugar. So now you're going to add your brown sugar. Again, you kind of have to like taste this and add as much as you think is going to be necessary while tasting it as you're making it. I don't have measurements like I said. I know that's going to drive a lot of people crazy. But like I said, I just like to see when I go by my eye, I like to see a thin layer of whatever seasoning I'm adding on top of whatever sauce I'm trying to mix these seasonings into, and then I stop. So that was garlic powder. This is onion powder now. I'm going to get a fork to whisk this around as it heats up. I kind of think of this like as a fancy ketchup. break down some of those brown sugar clumps. I know it may sound a little crazy. Oh, freaking ketchup with garlic powder and onion powder and blah 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 and all that shit. But if you read some of these ingredients, they tend to put like salt, spice, onion powder is already in here. But you're just trying to bring out that onion powder a little bit more. And then the garlic is just an extra little kick. I like to do a little needs a little bit more brown sugar. Should be good. And bring up the heat on this a little bit just to get that brown sugar nice and melted and melded with the rest of this. Do another little taste test. Perfect. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. It's a little ketchup glaze with garlic powder, onion powder, and brown sugar to put on your meatloaf. If you don't like the idea of that, or you just hate ketchup, you can always opt to just use marinara sauce like most people do. But I like this. I think it's delicious, and I think you'd probably like it too if you give it a chance and be a little bit open-minded. And with that, I'll see you when the rice is done and we have our dish built and put together. Alright, so while the rice is cooking, I'm going to make my side salad that I like to eat with my meals. That involves some red leaf lettuce. I like to take out that hard, crispy portion of the lettuce. I don't like biting into that. And you can be fancy or chop this off, or like I like to do, I just rip it apart with my hands. Like my lettuce finely chopped. Alright. Got my kale. Kale's really good for you, it's high in iron. People think you can't get iron on a vegan diet, but kale will prove you wrong all the time. This also has calcium. Alright. Also, some baby spinach. Can't go wrong with this. We've got vitamins A, C, K, and folate in here. Alright. Let's chop these little cherry tomatoes up in here. Love me some tomatoes. Like I said, love me some tomatoes, so there's going to be a lot of tomatoes in here. One more. I won't be that greedy. Alright. And last but not least, a nice chunk of avocado. I mean a nice chunk. Ooh, that shit looks pretty. Cut this off. Trying to get all that good stuff off of here. All right. Cover this little piece back up. Now we're gonna get to work on the vinaigrette. My mom used to make me a nice little simple vinaigrette when I was little growing up. It was just your basic white vinegar, Goya adobo, unfortunately, but I told you I don't use Goya products. And olive oil. And all Goya adobo really is just garlic powder, onion powder, black pepper, oregano, and turmeric all mixed together. But they OD with the salt. By you just getting those basic ingredients separately and you mixing them together yourself, you can control the levels of salt in there, because Salt in a very high amount can lead to a lot of problems. So I use balsamic vinegar instead of white vinegar because I just found out balsamic vinegar has probiotics in it which help you digest your vegetables and leads to a healthy gut. Means easier bowel movements and all that, you know. So since we have a lot of salad, we gotta use a good amount of vinegar. Alright, that should be good enough. Alright. You add your black pepper in there. Don't want to OD too much. A smidge more. Got your garlic powder. Got your onion powder. Turmeric, oregano, I'm doing this because I like to further finely ground the oregano in my hand so that it really releases its flavor. Finer the oregano, the more it's going to release its flavor into that vinegar. Alright. That's that. And finally, some salt. And the last but not least, a little bit of olive oil. And bam. And whisk that all together. Get all those flavors nice and melded together. And well distributed throughout the vinaigrette. That little taste. Yas, yas. Get that all over your shit. Yeah, boy, yeah, boy. Looking delicious. Look at that, look at that. Alright, give this a good tossing. Make sure all the leaves get coated. That was my rice you just heard. Oh, losing some greens over here. some of this avocado and tomato up at the top. All right. Oh man, can't wait to dig in. All right, let's get the spices away. And I'll meet you at the dinner table when I have all the food plated up for the final taste test. All right, and here we are, people. My meal is nice and complete. Normally when people think of vegan food, they only think that you can only eat something like this. This is a kale salad with spinach, tomatoes, avocado, and red leaf lettuce. But vegan food can also be this. We got some Spanish style rice with pinto beans, peppers, onions, and cilantro. We made our vegan meatloaf, which you saw earlier. This is it's got chopped up peppers and onions inside of the meat with cilantro also. And then we have our ketchup glaze, which is organic, well, not organic ketchup, it was that ketchup that I had in the fridge, but it's ketchup, onion powder, garlic powder, brown sugar, and that's pretty much it. And now let's see how it came out. That rice is banging. Oh, hell yeah. Hold on. I'm going for that. Get some avocado up in here. Banging, people, banging. I wish you could taste this. And there you have it, people. Delicious meal, cruelty-free, 100% vegan, good for your health. As long as you don't OD on things like salt and oil, you control your portions. I really don't recommend using things like Goya products because of the additives that they have, preservatives, and the high amounts of sodium. But as you can see, a delicious banging meal, and I give it like 10 out of 10 honestly, and that's not even because I cooked them myself. But if you like what you saw, make sure you subscribe, make sure you hit that alert. There's going to be plenty of cooking demos in the future. I have plenty of more meals up my sleeve that I'm looking forward to sharing with you guys, and I'll see you guys on the next video.